Let's talk about these things called growth periods. Growth periods. What are they? And what causes them? What to do when you're in one?
Well, growth periods, if you were to be ridiculously simple, it's simply I'm going along, I'm in my status quo, and something changes to my dislike or to my like, and I have a new experience that I'm not prepared for, neither good or bad. When you start to take it up into spiritual levels, or when you start to take it into your life, you begin to find that things have a little bit more effect. So sometimes in a 3D world, I'm surprised and then I'm angry or I'm happy. So there's an emotional response to that. As you begin, and then sometimes you're really surprised and it's like, oh my God, I just won $1 million. That puts you in a growth period.
Yes.
So growth period in that context is something outside of your box that you're not prepared for, and you now have to deal with it. So good or bad in that context too.
And that's in the 3D moving around life.
Yeah, pretty much just general life. And so people go in and out of growth periods all the time.
So let's say I got a new job and I'm really excited about it. However, I'm in a growth period.
Right. So you go to work and you're there and you have no clue
Right.
what to do, who are the people, where's the bathroom, none of those things. Growth period. So everybody's experienced that in one form or another.
Yeah.
When you start to step into spiritual growth periods, it's similar but different. So one of the things that happens as you play where we're all playing, and you begin to get more into present time, you begin to become more conscious of being conscious, you begin to be more aware and you're observant more, looking around at, I used to do this, but it doesn't make sense to me anymore. That alone puts you in a growth period. You start to begin to be conscious that many of the things that you've done on your normal walking around life don't fit anymore. One of the things that happens consistently is the world around you doesn't interest you. You begin to lose your friends because you simply don't vibrate where they vibrate. You step up and that doesn't make sense to you. But losing your friends is something you've done all your life. You meet people, you're happy with people, and all of a sudden you go, where did Sally go? I haven't seen her in 6 months. So that kind of change is going on all the time. But a spiritual growth period is interesting from a number of standpoints, because as you begin to become conscious of being conscious and you start to walk along this journey, and it's a journey, it's not a destination or an end result. It's not a 2-weekend class and you get a certificate and therefore you're certified. This spiritual path is really a journey, and on it you begin to open up into different realms of consciousness. You begin to have different awarenesses, but many times there's no words to those awarenesses. A lot of times, particularly in mastering alchemy, you'll sit and you'll step into a procedure where, for example, you become conscious of the green color codings, or you begin to play with the eighth ray, and those are tools that allow you to clear away old patterns. But when you clear away a lot of old patterns, you also make room for new vibrations to come into your space. So people a lot of times in spiritual growth periods will have a lot of electricity running through their body. They'll be pleasantly confused. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing. You may find that that kundalini in the body begins to turn on functioning. It runs nicely. So again, that's that electricity. You may find yourself drooling on yourself and you don't realize it until you notice a big line on your shirt.
Yeah.
So all those, you may find you're saying things that it's like, whoa.
I remember once I was early on, we did some piece of work and I was in a growth period, but I didn't realize it until I'm in the shower and I put the shampoo on my hair and it's not foaming, and I realized I put the conditioner on instead of the shampoo.
Sure, you just don't pay attention to
Well, I used to bump into things. I was always bruising myself.
Oh yeah, I remember when you walked into the wall and then said, excuse me. Yeah, that's a growth period. I remember those things. So what makes it important to talk about growth periods right now is in status quo, things move more slowly. Everybody's in agreement or in agreement not to be in agreement, but it is how it is. But with this spiritual transition, which is fundamental to everything that's going on, with transitions like politics and governments all over the world, this is a tremendous time for change. And so in change, you have opportunity to create something new. You have opportunity to begin to experience things new. Well, when you take a spiritual growth period that's been evolving for 26,000 years and even further back, and then lots of the cycles upon cycles, all of a sudden new things are really coming into an awareness. And people on the spiritual journey are going to find things that are upsetting, things that are going away, new concepts coming into awareness. So there's lots of flux.
And one of the things when you find yourself in a growth period, there's some things that you can do to make it a little easier on yourself. And one of the things is, first of all, recognize, oh, I'm in a new state. I'm in a new state of mind, awareness, etc. And begin to give to yourself.
Yeah.
Be really kind to yourself. Take a bath. Watch a movie. Don't push yourself.
Yeah, that's a big piece because people think they can just keep going.
Muscle through it.
And muscling through this is not the way to make it work. It really is give to yourself, sit back, go for a walk. Don't do the next thing on your list. Just take a weekend off, something that most of us don't do enough of in the first place.
And it's really, when you get into a growth period, another way to look at it is a celebration. I did this piece of energy work and whoa, I feel it in my body. Good job. This means something's changing.
Yeah, but really be clear, we are in a tremendous change. And you are not going to come out the other end of this the same as you are right now or you've entered into it. There's going to be very, very many changes. The key for most everybody mastering alchemy and spiritual people watching this is it doesn't have to be. One of the things that people do is they say, this is not good because it's going to mean that in my future. And you're seeing a lot of that happening because everything's beginning to be upsetting the balance, the movement, the changes. So a really big piece to growth periods is take a breath and stay right here and right now. And yes, it may mean something off-balancing, challenging tomorrow, but tomorrow isn't today.
Right.
2 minutes from now isn't this
Right.
minute. So find your space and take a big breath in present time and recognize I'm drooling in myself. Sometimes you don't notice that until you see this really long line around your throat. That's a growth period, so there's an indicator. But all these changes that are going on are going to stimulate opportunities. And so if you can stay in present time and not go, oh my God, this means, and stop and pause, you may find what it means is something pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
So growth periods are something to pay attention. One more piece of that. I watch a lot of spiritual people assign ascension symptoms.
Yes.
And in a way, you really don't even know what an ascension symptom is. It's an interesting concept. It's like, whoa, I just did something and I'm in a growth period. I have new electricity running through my body. So you can call it anything you want. But when it really kind of boils down to it, you're in a growth period. Something has just altered my state of awareness. I'm not sure what it is or I am. It's good or bad, not important, but I am now having to do something different than I was before. Or my body is responding in a manner where I've got a lot more energy running through it. Be nice to yourself. If you want to call it ascension symptoms, do. But I'm trying to make it easy because people search for this must mean therefore.
Right.
Maybe it does. But when you start signing labels and opinions and judgments to something, you really kind of get a little further out. And unless you can absolutely verify it, which the symptoms are something that's not very verifiable in my reality, is allow it to be a growth period and then deal with it accordingly by being nice to yourself.
Yeah. Take a nap.
Right. So, useful piece of information, really. Be nice to yourself in present time. That's all I know.